For 10 years, Anna told herself that love meant staying. It meant patience without limits, forgiveness without memory, and hope without proof. Love, she believed, was endurance. It was standing still while everything around her crumbled, convincing herself that if she just waited long enough, the storm would pass. She met Daniel when they were young, before responsibilities weighed on their shoulders and before disappointment became familiar. They were both full of dreams then. Daniel was magnetic, quick to laugh, intense in his emotions, always chasing the next thrill. Anna admired that fire in him. It made life feel alive. When he talked about big plans and impossible ideas, she believed every word. At first, his love for games, risk, and excitement seemed harmless. Poker nights with friends, long hours online, drinks that stretched too late into the night. Anna brushed it off as youth, stress, a phase he would grow out of. She trusted that love would mature him, that stability would ground him. She never imagined how deeply the need to escape would consume him, or how much she would lose trying to hold him together. The first relapse didn't arrive with chaos. It slipped in quietly, almost politely. A paycheck that never made it home. A vague explanation about office delays. A credit card bill she didn't recognize. When she asked, Daniel smiled and kissed her forehead, promising it was nothing. She wanted to believe him, so she did. Then came the lies that grew heavier, nights when he didn't come home, excuses that didn't quite fit. The drinking increased, and the gambling followed close behind. Each time he swore it was the last time. Each time he cried in her arms, ashamed, desperate, convincing. And each time Anna chose to believe him because believing felt easier than accepting the truth. She began reading about addiction late at night while Daniel slept. Articles, books, forums. She learned new words: relapse, enabling, codependency, boundaries. She attended support meetings where strangers spoke her thoughts out loud. She nodded along, took notes, promised herself she would be stronger, but knowing the words didn't make the pain smaller. It didn't stop her heart from racing every time her phone buzzed after midnight. They had children, two bright, sensitive souls who adored their father. On his good days, Daniel was everything Anna had hoped he could be. He built pillow forts in the living room, invented bedtime stories, made the children laugh until their sides hurt. In those moments, Anna convinced herself it was worth it. This is who he really is, she thought. This is the man I married. On his bad days, he vanished, sometimes physically lost in bars, games, and distractions, sometimes emotionally present in body, absent in spirit. His silence filled the house with tension. Anna learned to read the smallest signs, the way he dropped his keys, the tone of his voice, the look in his eyes. She learned how to adjust herself to keep the peace. She smiled for the children. She covered for him. Daddy's working late. Daddy isn't feeling well. The lies came easier with time, even as they tasted bitter. At night, after the children were asleep, Anna sat alone in the dark, wondering how she had become so skilled at pretending. 10 years passed in repeating cycles: hope, collapse, apology, hope again. Each cycle stole a little more of her strength. Anna became an expert at survival. She paid bills alone, planned birthdays alone, made decisions alone. She cried silently in the bathroom, pressing a towel against her mouth so no one would hear. Friends asked why she stayed. Family hinted that she deserved better. Anna never had a simple answer. Love, guilt, fear, loyalty, habit, all tangled together, until leaving felt more terrifying than staying. She worried about what would happen to Daniel without her. She worried about breaking her family. She worried that walking away would mean she had failed. Daniel went to rehab twice. The first time, Anna sat beside his bed every visiting hour, holding his hand while he promised change. She believed him completely. She imagined a future reborn. The second time, she didn't cry. She was too tired, too worn down to feel hope the same way. Each attempt gave her a brief glimpse of the man she loved, only to watch him fade again. Every relapse chipped away at something inside her, something that never fully healed. The turning point wasn't dramatic. There was no explosion, no final argument, no moment that could be easily explained to others. It was quiet, almost invisible. One evening, Anna noticed her son carefully locking his bedroom door before going to sleep. When she asked why, he shrugged and said calmly, "In case Daddy comes home angry." The words were simple. The impact was devastating. Something shattered inside her. She saw her children adapting, learning to protect themselves, growing smaller to survive chaos they didn't create. In that moment, Anna understood what she had been refusing to see. Love was no longer enough. Staying was no longer neutral. It was harmful. That night, she sat alone in the kitchen, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the house heavy with silence, 10 years pressed down on her chest. She whispered the truth she had avoided for so long. I cannot save him. Not with patience. Not with sacrifice. Not with love that cost her everything. Leaving was the hardest thing she had ever done. Daniel cried. He begged. He promised again. He accused her of giving up, of abandoning him when he needed her most. Those words pierced her, reopened every doubt she carried. For a moment, she almost stayed. But this time, she didn't argue. She didn't defend herself. She didn't explain. She simply said, "I love you, but I can't disappear to keep you alive." The first weeks after leaving were unbearable. Guilt followed her everywhere. She questioned every step, every decision. Nights were long and lonely. She wondered if she had ruined everything. But slowly, something changed. The house became quieter, not empty, but calm. The children slept through the night. There were no slammed doors, no sudden tension. Anna slept too, for the first time in years, without fear waking her in the dark. She still thought of Daniel. She still hoped he would heal, but she finally understood a painful truth. Staying had not saved him. and it had nearly destroyed her. Love that demands self-erasure is not love, it is survival masquerading as devotion. Months later, Anna looked at her reflection and barely recognized the woman staring back. She wasn't healed. She wasn't fearless, but she was free. Free to choose peace. Free to protect her children. Free to love herself without conditions. And in that freedom, she learned the lesson that took 10 years to accept. Sometimes leaving isn't betrayal. Sometimes it's the bravest act of love directed not outward, but inward.